This is a video in a playlist. Moms Lives Matter playlist. This is going to be on Rachel. Jacob loved Rachel. That was his girl. But it was not his first wife nor his first baby mama because he was scammed by their dad. But this is what we know about Rachel. Ruth, line 411, says, like Rachel and Leah, which two did build the house of Israel. Okay, so we know that Rebecca and Isaac had twins. Esau was red and hairy, and Jacob was smooth, and Jacob married Rachel. Okay, Genesis 30. Here we go. Jacob's anger kindled against Rachel. I'm pretty sure that's because she was complaining that he didn't knock her up, but let's make sure. 30, line 2. Genesis 30. Starts out with Rachel saying that she herself gave Jacob no children. She became jealous of her sister, and she said to Jacob, "Give me children or I'm going to die." This made Jacob angry with Rachel, and he retorted, "Am I in God's place? It is he who has refused you motherhood." So she said, "Here, take my slave girl Bilhah. Sleep with her so that she may give birth on my knees. Through her, then, I too shall have children." So she gave him her slave girl Bilhah as a wife, and Jacob slept with her, and Bilhah conceived. They gave birth to a son by Jacob. And then Rachel said, "God has done me an injustice." God has done me justice. Yeah, he heard my prayer and gave me a son, so she named him Dan. And Rachel's slave girl Bilhah conceived and gave birth to a second son by Jacob. And Rachel said, "I have fought God and I fight with my sister, and I won." So she named him Naphtali. So now Leah, seeing that she had no more children, she took her slave girl to Zilpah and gave her to Jacob to wife. So Leah's slave girl Zilpah gave birth to a son by Leah's slave girl gave birth to us by Jacob. And Leah exclaimed, "What a good fortune." Okay, so we talked about Leah yesterday. This one's about Rachel. So, yeah. So that's how Jacob ended with 4 baby mamas and all these boys and 1 daughter. How about Rachel stole images that belonged to her father's? Now, her father was also the one that was fucking around with Jacob's pay and everything. And how about Genesis? That was Genesis 29:20. Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, but they just seemed like a few days because of the love he had for her. Genesis 31:35. That's when her father was running around looking for these images, like some kind of idol, I guess. And I think she did have them. Rachel, his daughter, came with the sheep. That's Genesis 29:6. I think Rachel took those images and lied about it. Okay, Genesis 37:9. I have Jacob the sun, Rachel the moon. All the souls of his sons and his daughters were 33. Rachel's in there 31 times. Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother. Rachel was beautiful, well-favored. The Lord make the woman that is come into thine house, like Rachel and Leah, which did build the house of Israel and do worthily in Ephratah and be famous in Bethlehem. He also loved Rachel more than Leah. That's Genesis 29:30. Rachel envied her sister. That's 29:31. Rachel sold Jacob's dick for the oranges. That's Genesis 30:15. For food stamps. How about 28? No, not 28. 2:18. Matthew 2:18. In Ramah, there was a voice heard, lamentation, weeping, and great mourning. Rachel was weeping for her children, and she just would not be comforted because they are not. Okay, so something happened there. Jacob set a pillar on Rachel's grave. There's a pillar on Rachel's grave to this day. Genesis 35:20. Genesis 48:7 says, this is Jacob speaking, and as for me, when I came to Padan, Rachel died by me in the land of Canaan. 1 Samuel 10:2 says, when thou art depart from me to this day, then thou shalt find 2 men by Rachel's sepulchre in the border of Benjamin at Zelzah. And they're going to say to thee, the asses which thou wentest to seek are found, and lo, thy father hath left the care of the asses, and sorroweth for you, saying, what shall I do for my son? Rachel died in childbirth. That's Genesis 35:19. Rachel travailed, and she had a hard labor, and she died. Genesis 31:15 says swallowed up money. That's probably important. 31. 31 is called Jacob's flight. Jacob learned that the sons of Laban were saying, Jacob has taken everything that belonged to our father. It's at our father's expense that he acquired all his wealth. Jacob saw from Laban's face that things were not as they had been. The Lord said to Jacob, go back to the land of your forefathers and to your kindred, and I'm going to be with you. So Jacob had Rachel and Leah called to the fields where his flocks were, and he said to them, I can see from your father's face that I am out of favor with him now. But the God of my father has been with me. You yourselves know that I worked for your father with all my strength. Your father tricked me 10 times, changing my wages, yet God has not allowed him to harm me. Whenever he said, the spotted one shall be your wages, all the animals produced spotted young. Whenever he said, the striped one shall be your wages, all the animals produced striped. Thus God has taken away your father's livestock and given it to me. And it happened at the same time when the animals were on heat, that in a dream I looked up and I saw the males covering the females of the flock were stripped or spotted or piebald. And in the dream, the angel of God called to me, Jacob, and I answered, I'm here. And he said, look up and see, all the males covering the females of the flock are striped, spotted, or piebald. For I have seen all that Laban has done to you. I am the God of Bethel, where you poured oil on the monument and where you made a vow to me. Now get ready to leave this country and return to the land of your birth. In answer, Rachel and Leah said to him, have we any share left in the inheritance of our father's house? Does he not treat us as foreigners? For he has sold us and gone on to use up all of our money. Surely all the riches God has taken from our father belong to us and our children. So do all that God has told you. Jacob made ready and put his children on his wives and his camel, and he drove all his livestock before him, and he went and he acquired the livestock belonging to him which he had acquired in Padan Aram, to go to his father Isaac in the land of Canaan. And when Laban went to shear his flock, Rachel stole the household idols belonging to her father. Jacob outwitted Laban and the Aramean by giving him no inkling of his flight, and he fled with all he had, and he went away, crossing the river and making for Mount Gilead. Okay, the next line is line 22, and that starts with Laban pursues Jacob. But, this was just about Rachel, and she died.